guys. Welcome to a special episode of the 716 Sports Entertainment Podcast, where today we are going to talk about the Buffalo Bills roster. More specifically, now that the draft is over, we're going to take a look at players that we feel are on the bubble, maybe might not be on the roster when we get to the final 53. And we're going to kind of break it all down, give our thoughts and opinions and our usual kind of banter back and forth on where we feel that the final roster for the Bills is going to go, and then ultimately what we think. And then, as we kind of, go about get a little bit closer to the season, we're going to break down everything with regards to the roster and hopefully, get something to get those Bills over the hump and get them to the championship game this year. So with that, I am Mike with 716 Sports Entertainment, joined by my main man, Mr. T. Reese. And guys, as always, hit that like and subscribe button. Thank you guys so much for all the subs. And we're getting close to 100. When we do, we're going to do a giveaway. And the same thing with 500 as well. We'll have another one at that point, and more details to come on that. So, yeah, let's go ahead and kick it off. Do you want to go first, or do you want me to
Yeah, go
bounce it
ahead.
up?
Lead it out.
All right. So, I think given the draft and bringing Hairston in, especially with that first round pick,
Hmm.
it seems like Dane Jackson is very likely to be maybe not on the starting roster. I mean, the salary's not outrageous, right? Because it's only like $500,000 in dead cap if they were to release him. But I just feel like, you bring in Hairston, you've got Christian Benford, and then they wouldn't have given Trey White. They wouldn't have brought Trey White back if they weren't going to use him. So are they really going to keep four guys on the roster? You know what I mean? I don't know. And then I know that they kind of use him for kick returns too, but they've got Codrington too, right? So I don't know. It just seems like an awful lot of guys, and I know he's not making that much money, but he seems like the fourth wheel. And I don't think it's necessary. But I don't know. What do you think?
I would definitely agree with you on that. Again, you already have they're all the same player, Dane Jackson, and um, uh, now they got this young guy in there who's going to probably take that starting spot this year.
Oh
With
yeah.
Trey White being back, they're going to probably shove him down a bit. Um, for some reason they like Daquan Hardy. He's a smaller. I mean, he's not a very big guy playing corner, but they've been using him as some sort of a project. So I just don't see them removing him. An interesting person in that too that might they like him a lot is Cam Lewis.
Hmm.
I know they were flirting with him playing safety too last year. So
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to see if maybe he possibly. But I mean, if anybody, I think it would be Dane Jackson. I mean, unless this guy completely dominates in training camp. That's the only way that he'd make the roster with the number of cornerbacks that they currently have.
Well, and right, and what a disappointment if Hairston doesn't make the starting roster, right? Like, what a real black eye for Bean, and like, just how disappointed would Bills fans be if your number one pick does not, isn't on the field week one,
Yep.
right? Like, I mean, so yeah, I don't know, and I think Christian Benford had a hell of a year last year, all things considering. I mean, he was him and Douglas were basically the number one, number two corners last year, right? So I mean, and Benford's still on the roster. Obviously, they couldn't make it work with Douglas, but I don't know. I just can't see it. I can't see it, and that's also coming true. Like, I don't really know what we're gonna get out of Trey White, right? Like, no one seems to know what we're gonna get out of Trey White, but I just feel like they gave him that contract, and like, I think he's gonna be on the field. Like, he's gonna be on the field in some way, shape, or form, because that's
Yeah.
just how they roll.
Well, I think they're going to use him how they kind of use Micah Hyde. So, I mean, obviously, he'll probably play in the games more so than Hyde did. But I think they're going to use him to try to carry over some of these young guys.
Yeah.
And like I said, I mean, the Maxwell kid is a perfect person to learn how to be a zone corner, especially with that speed. I mean, why not? And I just don't see why would you have Dane Jackson and have Trey White on the same roster and have that young kid on there? So one of the three have to go. I agree. I think it'd probably be Dane. There's a good chance it's Dane Jackson.
Yeah. Agree. Agree.
Yeah.
So who do you got for your first pick?
My first pick is, he has to be on notice. I seen him smiling around at the OTAs not too long ago, and I'm like, I don't know what you're smiling about, player, because your days might be numbered. That's Espinoza.
Epinesa. All right. All
And
right.
his replacement for me is Landon Jackson. Is his replacement.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, you already brought in Bosa. You got Rousseau. Now you have Espinoza and you have Landon Jackson. Now you also I believe they're still working with where is he? They got Zion Logue, who's going to be moving into the interior. I think he'll probably be in a starting spot. But I I just don't see how he makes the right. Too many defensive ends, and I don't. With the money that they're paying him, they're not going to bench him. They're better off cutting them. It also depends on how they feel about Javon Solomon too. They let him play a little more in the last part of the season. Last season, he had some flashes here and there. I do like his motor. The guy keeps going, and he could bend the edge fairly well. He just got to work on his balance and everything. But I I just think Epinesa, he's the most cost the most, and you
Yeah.
can probably get the same production or more out of either the Jackson pick or like I said, they're going to probably move around Bosa and Rousseau. Rousseau, I like to see them use him on the inside a little more. So I think that Espinoza is on notice. I think he gets traded. That's what I think firmly is going to happen, though. I think if they can cut him, they can probably maybe save a few dollars. I don't remember how much exactly, but it's not
Looks
much.
6.2 according to Spot Track if they trade him.
If they trade him, yeah. But if they cut him, what is it? Post June 1st.
Oh, it doesn't say. I have to go to another website. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, you're right. And like that makes a lot of sense too. And what about that other guy they brought in, the one guy who's going to be out for six, was it Michael Hecht? The guy who's going to be out for
Yeah,
six games?
Michael. Yeah, he's more of like a Swiss Army knife. He can play all the spots. So he can play. You can put him on the inside, standing up on the edge. Sometimes he can drop back, play corner or linebacker in spots. So he's going to be a guy a piece they're going to be moving around all over the field. But yeah, he's another one. You can stick him at defensive end. He has experience playing that too. So
Yeah.
I think Espineza's out. I think he definitely is going to get traded though.
Yeah. I I agree with you. I mean, I like Epinesa. He was always a good player, and but yeah, it's just too much. It's too much money, and you invested so much in this draft on that defense, and like, go young, go cheap as long as you can, right? And then like if they're gonna make a splashy move next year, like they'll have some more cap space with which to do it. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think that makes sense. Um, so my next one is gonna be probably not that crazy, but I think given that we're expecting Keon Coleman to take a step forward. We brought in Josh Palmer, and then now we have Elijah Moore as well. I think Curtis Samuel. That
Mm.
contract is way too big, and he did basically F all last year. I mean, he had like a game and a half where he was like productive, but I mean, was it 2 years now with that guy? I just think he's like, I don't think he's very good. I think he's washed up, and I'm not, I don't see it. Too much money too. It's like an $8 million contract. It's like outrageous.
Well, this is his first year, um, but I don't think I think they take a mean hit towards the cap if they cut him. If I
Yeah,
heard correctly,
that might be true. That
and
might be
that's
true.
why he will more than likely he's going to be on the second year of that 3 year contract, and I think
Yeah.
they're going to take a hit on that second year. So I agree with you. Trust me, if they can find a way to move him, I agree. I just don't think with the cap hit they're gonna cut him. But if he was going to be a pick of mine without having to worry about a salary cap, probably would definitely be Curtis Samuel. You have too many of him on the roster right now.
Yeah, they're saying like for him to be $8 million to be the fifth receiver on your roster, that's way too much.
Yeah.
Way too much. And he signed, you're right, he did sign a $24 million deal. So yeah, that would cost them a little bit of money, but like you're paying a guy that much to basically not play. And I mean, what was the injury situation with him all year last year? Like no one seems to have any idea what that was all about. So like
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't love it.
Yeah, it was very bizarre the way his season went last year. It was almost like I mean, not to say that they were doing this, but it was almost like they were trying to protect him from the public because they weren't really getting him involved in the offense. And it wasn't, I don't think it was an injury. I think it was just he wasn't being involved,
Yeah.
or especially early in the first half of the season. But I mean, you're right. I mean, if they're going to find a way to move on from him, then I think they should. I don't know what the cap hit even is if they trade him. But yeah, I wish.
I mean, yeah, I don't, I don't love the contract, and I really just don't love paying a guy that much money who's just not, he's your number five. And like,
Mm,
I don't really think he was good. I don't think I mean, he had one game. I forget which game. It was closer to the end of the season where he had a few catches and he looked good. I really
mm,
cannot remember for the life of me which one it was. But I mean, he was invisible in the playoffs. I mean, so was Amari Cooper and like a lot of other guys. But I mean, he had one game and they were like saying all year long, what was it, like turf toe or or something, plantar fasciitis or something like that. And it was like you just don't ever get right from that, like in the middle of a season. So I don't know. I mean, unless he takes a major step forward this year, because to your point, yeah, it's going to be expensive to get rid of him. But like, unless he takes a major step forward this year, I don't see it.
yeah, I mean, I think it was Denver. It was the Denver game. 55-yard touchdown in that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had in the playoffs. He had a decent game in the playoffs, but I mean, all right. So I also have a wide receiver too. I've selected, and it wasn't Curtis Samuel just because of the contract. But again, like I said, I agree with you. If they could cut him, I would definitely cut him or move on from him. Mine's is they're kind of tied together because I think they're actually going to be fighting against each other to get on this roster, or at least on the practice squad. T.J. Hamler and Shavers, only
Shavers.
because you now brought in Elijah Moore.
Yeah. Yep.
So one of those two are expendable, more than likely. I think TJ Hamler probably gives you more than what the Shavers would, just because Hamler can do special teams. So I think you would probably keep him over Shavers, but Elijah Moore is replacing one of those two guys, and one of them are not going to be on this roster this year.
So do you think Elijah Moore, like, 'cause I remember who was the guy they brought in from Pittsburgh last year, who we were like, oh, that was kind of surprising because he was a relatively big name, and then he like
Um,
never ended up making the roster at all. I guess my point is like, do you think
Chase,
Elijah Moore's going to make?
Claypool.
Yeah, Chase Claypool. Do you think that Elijah Moore's going to actually make the roster though? Like guaranteed make the roster?
Yeah, he's not like those guys. I mean, Chase Claypool. He's never mounted to anything. He was drafted by Pittsburgh, went to Chicago.
That's right.
Nothing happened. He came here. Everyone was hyped up that he was going to make the roster. Cut from here. Yeah, some of the guys that came in previously, that are kind of like similar to him, they were the exact situation. Elijah Moore is actually a proven wide receiver. The guy can play on the boundary and he can play on the inside and the slot, and he's extremely fast. So now you just added another element to your offense. So now you have a guy who now gives the threat of taking off the roof. So now, the Bills were so much, last season, it was just like a lot of short screen passes, wheel routes, short pass over the middle, secure, let them turn it into a 10-yard, let them run for another 10 yards after the catch. But they didn't have anybody that really threatened safety. And that's why we didn't have a lot of wide receivers, making, explosive plays, catching the ball, because we were only playing a short and a midfield, a mid-level game plan every week because we didn't have nobody to go deep. Now you got a guy who can do it.
He's going to be an outside receiver.
He does both.
Oh, okay.
I mean, when he was in Cleveland, he played on the outside.
Well, I mean, I think it makes sense, right? Like, because you stick Coleman on the one. What about Palmer? Like, what is he primarily?
He's a boundary guy too. So now you have your two boundary guys.
Yeah. Okay.
And then you're going
to. They don't put Coleman in the slot, though. I don't think they put Coleman in the slot.
No. Coleman will not start this year. It's going to be those Josh Palmer and Elijah Moore. It's going to probably start on the outside with Khalil Shakir and Curtis Samuel playing on the inside and interchangeably. And don't forget they got Laviska Shenault. I don't think he'll make the roster, but I mean they do have him. He's the Claypool this year. Laviska Shenault is this year's Claypool. They're taking a shot at him, see if the Bills could do anything with him. He was I think he was a first round or second round pick when he was drafted. Just didn't pan out, and anywhere he's played over the last couple of seasons. Jacksonville. I think he played. What did he play with last year? What was it? Oh, he played for the Seahawks last year. So I mean, he really didn't do much with the Seahawks either. So keep this year's Claypool, but those are my two. I think this year the spot for Elijah Moore, he's going to replace either T.J. Hamler or Shavers.
Yeah, see it.
What do you got?
This one hurts me to say this because I love this guy so much, but the injuries and the price tag, and I know that there's been talk of redoing this guy's contract, but Matt Milano, I love Matt Milano. I think he's great, but that injury, man, that injury was rough. And then he comes back and he sits practically the entire 2023 season. Then he sits out until what was it, week 13 or whatever with that bicep. Like, dude, I mean, two practically full season. I mean, I get it. Like when he came back after the fact, he looked like a shell of himself. I mean, maybe he'll completely prove me wrong and he'll look great this year. I mean, Dorian Williams has been good, so like, I mean, I don't think Dorian Williams is Matt Milano, but we haven't seen Matt Milano in his we haven't seen core Matt Milano in like 2 years, and he's expensive as shit. So like I don't know. Like you really want to invest all that money in a guy when like he might not be there when you can bring somebody else in. Like I said, I don't love it. I really, really don't love it, but he's so expensive and I also hate the phrase injury prone, but man, that's rough. It's really rough.
I would agree with you, but I believe Milano restructured his contract to a 1-year deal for this season.
Oh, did he? I didn't see that. Okay. That's good.
So there's nothing for them to worry about with him this year. Obviously, if it doesn't work out, it just doesn't work out. He's just, he's done after this year. And I think it's more or less the Bills are probably going to say, prove it. Prove it. You can make it through a season, and we'll talk about extending you out again. But you're right. He hasn't had any of the ability to stay on the field at all. And even coming back from injury last year, a few splash plays here and there, you've seen him, but overall, it just wasn't effective at all when he came back.
I love the idea of the prove it contract. Like, if you're, I think you're right. That is the case. I mean, that's huge, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, guys like the expensive guys on prove it contracts. I've always been a big fan of that. So yeah.
And I mean, then you're figuring. I mean, even if you wanted to, I mean, you got a couple of young guys on the roster right now. Joe Andreessen. I mean, we didn't see much from him last year, but he came in with a lot of hype. And don't forget, like I said, Michael Hoyt plays all spots too, so he couldn't very well be interchanged. I think that's why they went this route this year, because of the Milano effect, because of him getting injured so much. Now you don't have to worry about it because you got people to replace him regardless if he's in the lineup.
That's true. Yeah. I mean, they didn't take a linebacker in the draft, but I mean, I don't know, to your point, but I don't know. Who you got?
They got a couple. Baylon Spector. I do not know why this guy's still on our roster. I mean, this is another one who can't stay on the field. And Ulofoshio, we haven't really seen much from him yet. I don't know what their plan is. I don't think they really have a plan for him right now. Because the top of the order there is just stacked. I don't think he has an opportunity to even show anything next year. Maybe in games we blow out other teams in the preseason is probably the only time you're going to see him. But outside that, I mean, you're right. I mean, I would love to be able to possibly move on, but I think they did it right by getting it down to a 1-year contract. But again, like you said, what if he gets hurt?
Yeah.
What if he gets hurt during the off season? Or during training camp, and it's possible. It's not the first time it's happened to him 3 years in a row.
I mean, didn't the bicep tear come like after the first preseason game?
Mm-hmm.
I just
Yep. Yep.
Like
And
we were all so happy he was going to come back, and then like that happened, and we are like, "Are you effing kidding me? He's not going to be back until December."
yeah.
Like, come on.
And then when he got the knee, what was the bad knee injury? Was that in 2022 or 23?
23, the year before he had the ACL.
Yeah, his knee was bent in three different directions, and
That was like a nightmare.
yeah, and he didn't ever fully come back from that. Didn't even really get a chance to get through training camp last year. Ended up busting up his bicep, and that was it. And that's all we saw of him for the rest of the season until what, the last 4 games of the season or 3 games he came back. And
Yeah.
um, I don't know, but yeah, I mean he would definitely be on my list. He would definitely be on my list. I also went defense in this spot. I intertwined two players like I did with the receivers. I think Dwayne Carter's on notice, and I think Daquan Jones, both defensive tackles, are on notice right
Daquan Jones, really?
now. Absolutely, Daquan Jones. Expensive contract, zero production from him at all last year. He didn't do anything to help us last year,
That's
and especially after he came off that injury in 2023. When he came back, ineffective. Came back 2024 to play, ineffective. Can you name a play you've seen him?
I mean, I feel like he's been invisible. Like, I mean, I
Really?
can't,
And
I
it's
can't.
obviously hurt Nate Oliver because Oliver's not was struggled last year too. So Daquan, I definitely put on there, and especially with his contract, it's a possibility he gets cut. I think he's too old to trade. I don't think anybody's trained for a defensive tackle, especially after the draft we just had. More than likely, he has to be a cut. So I'm not sure how much it would save on him, but it's. I mean, I don't think he'd take that much of a hit on towards the contract because I think this is his last year of the contract. And then Dwayne Carter,
Yeah.
who?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, to your point, right? Like, I mean, they drafted that Deon Walker kid, so like, you absolutely got another kid, another young, cheap
Mm-hmm.
guy ready to go, right? Like, and everyone's been praising the crap out of that Deon Walker guy. So, I mean, yeah, I could see it. Yeah, I could absolutely see it. Or even Sanders, right? Even TJ Sanders. So, I mean, you've got two defensive tackles like waiting in the wings, and it would be great if one of them could play. And like to your point, you've got younger, cheaper guys that are like just completely replaceable of your old, not so great guys. So yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Yep, because TJ Sanders will be Dwayne Carter's replacement, and like I said, the Deon Walker will be Daquan's replacement if they decide to go both ways with that. Because Dwayne Carter, I mean, I mean, he had some of the worst play at defensive tackle I've ever seen in my life. You know, I watched some of the tape back on that guy last year in some of the games. Oh my! There were games this dude literally. Remember that movie The Blind Side where they show him pushing that dude all the way out into the stands? That's what this dude looked like. Looked like he was on skates. I mean, I'm just watching dudes toss him around like he's not even on the field. He has not shown me nothing. I think he had one splash play last year. I think was it against the Jets? I can't remember who it was, but he had the little knife through and tackled the running back in the backfield. But this guy, I mean, I seen nothing from him last year. There was no improvement.
No.
It just got worse and worse, and that's why he got benched the rest of the season. I think they benched him. He didn't really come out and play after I think it was like the last 4 or 5 games of the season. He was scratched I think he was scratched for a few of those games or bench and never came into the game. So even the Bills aren't too thrilled with them, and especially with them drafting all these defensive tackles and defensive ends. I think it's a possibility he gets cut. I would say, if you ask me, I would say Daquan just because of contract at the age.
Yeah.
And Dwayne Carter, you got him on a 4th round draft pick contract, so it's possible he'll probably still be here, but you don't need him now. So if he doesn't show up in training camp, you can cut him without even thinking twice.
Yeah. No, yeah, that's true. That's true. So I have one bonus one. And I think that Bills fans are going to hate me for this, like a lot. So please, all you guys in the comments, like you can feel free to roast me for this one. But you know what? I personally don't like this guy. I think he's too expensive. I don't care that he's best friends with the quarterback, Dawson Knox. I want
Oh, good old Dawson, huh?
I want him off the team. $29.5 million contract. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? That was the worst contract that they signed by a mile. Like, what are you paying that dude for? He sucks at blocking. Like now, I mean, yeah, I get it, like that Kincaid has not lived up to expectations, but you drafted Kincaid to be your pass catching tight end, and then you pay this guy all that money. Like, what the hell are you doing? And then I know that they picked up another tight end on the fifth round, I think, as well, that Jackson kid or whatever his name is. But
Mhm.
it's like, what are we doing paying this dude this much money? Like you're paying him more than you're paying like half of your wide receivers. What the hell are you doing? All he does is block, and he sucks at that. Get him off the team.
Well, I mean, only pushback I'm going to give you is last season he was better than Kincaid.
And what? So I'm gonna ask you, what's the deal with Kincaid? Like, what's the deal with Kincaid?
Not enough body mass. Still, yeah, terrible. Not very good at blocking on the offensive line or during run plays. He gets stupid penalties when I mean, we at least at the worst times because he can't block. Yeah, and like I said, he's a liability when he's on the field. Unless you just have him run routes, he's a liability anywhere else that tight end line. I mean, Dawson Knox, he's developed into a pretty good blocker. I mean, he's not the greatest blocker in the world, but what the Bills needed out of Kincaid last year, they got out of Dawson Knox. I mean, they just didn't get enough catches out of him. Kincaid, I mean, I guess the rule of thumb for tight ends is usually it takes 3 years. That's kind of the rule of thumb for him. So
This year, dude better
yeah,
step up. I mean,
yeah. I mean, you're a first round pick. I needed to see more out of you. Bean did, or McDermott and Bean brought up the fact they needed him to put more muscle on because he's a slender guy. So,
yeah.
and as you can see, I mean, 2 seasons he's been banged up and missed games and injured all over the place because he's not a very big guy. And it's tough when you're someone like him when you get drafted by the Bills and they're comparing you to Kelsey right as soon as you get drafted. And
Yeah.
and the problem is we have expectations that he's going to look like Kelsey just because of all the talk he had. And let's be honest, as much as I can't stand the Kansas City Chiefs and their smug faces, you got to give them the credit. I mean, Kelsey is almost virtually unstoppable. I mean, like literally, I don't know how people allow this guy to get open like he does, but he just gets open,
Yeah.
and that's the reason why Mahomes is so successful, is primarily because of him.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, the dog, I get it. I mean, he's overpaid. You don't get the production that equals the amount of money that he's getting paid. The Jackson Hawks kid is just a block. Remember Lee Smith?
Oh yeah, there's a blast from the past. Yeah.
That's what he is. He's the best. He was the best blocking tight end in the country. That's it. He caught very few passes.
I don't love paying almost $30 million to a blocking tight end. I don't
Yeah, I
like
mean,
it.
I'm with you. I'm with you. I mean, you need more production out of one of the two spots. But
Yeah.
I mean, right now, Knox was the only consistent tight end we had last year.
I mean, he's not going anywhere, right? He's best friends with the quarterback. Like he's absolutely, and I get it, but he's yeah. Just I'm just more annoyed by it, I think, than anything else.
Yeah.
Everyone was pissed when that contract came out, and no one can
Oh
say
yeah.
other.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Because he didn't really do much to prove to get that contract. But Being they have that habit of trying to get contracts early on everybody, and then roll the dice that you're going to they're going to make out on the contract because you're going to produce. You'll be a Pro Bowl player at some point during that contract, so you're actually saving money. But
Yeah.
I think they did it too many times. Is that possible? Signing people too early. Like I said, I just was not a fan of that contract. I agree with you on that one. I cannot take that away. I mean, there's a few guys they just kind of over the years that they just kind of jumped on too early. Like Ed, I like Ed. I mean, but he's dependent on another guy.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's not the highest paid defensive tackle in the league. I get it, but you're paying him to be one. You know what I'm saying? And he hasn't done really with. I mean, every time I turn around, it's always, oh, he's not having any help. Well, you know what? Neither did Aaron Donald.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, you can go down some of the great defensive tackles in NFL history. They didn't need it. Most of them didn't need help. They were the dominant force on the field. And Ed just has yet to even prove to us that he can be that guy. So, I mean, yeah, there's a few players I just kind of wish that maybe we took a flyer. Because think about it, if we had this draft like this year and we paid Ed Oliver,
Yeah.
you're probably going to get more production, I think, out of probably TJ Sanders than you're going to get out of Ed Oliver this year. CJ Sanders is my pick right now. I I'm gonna throw it out there. I think he gets Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Really?
Yep.
Wow, that's bold. That's really bold. You heard it here first, guys, but
Yep.
wow. Yeah, that's bold. And I mean, yeah, I mean he should be on the field a bunch too, because I know that like Bosa's not gonna play every down.
No.
Like, I mean, Bosa will be third down specialist. Maybe, every once in a while you'll see him on first down, but I bet very rarely you will see Bosa play on second down. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of goal line stuff for him, but yeah. And then we'll see how
Yeah.
those other two
Yeah.
come back.
No, he's replacing
Vaughn.
Von Miller. And he's going to be a third down specialist. You're not going to use the wear and tear on his body because this guy, you can't even breathe on him without the guy going on IR. So
Right.
the best thing to do is not put him on the field that often, which is the reason why you bring in the Jackson kid.
Yeah. No, you're completely right. You're completely right. Yes, that's my bonus one. Do you got one?
Let me see here. Maybe I do. Maybe I do. Um,
I mean,
I
if
mean,
if I if I leaked our group chat, it would be Tyler Bass, but that was from last season.
yeah, we don't got to replace him right now.
I know.
Um, well, there's some names they're still listed on our roster that aren't going to be on this team this year. I mean, they're still listing Jordan Phillips on it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I mean, he's still listed. It's not. I don't know. I think we've covered everybody. I don't know. I think you're going to have some issues on the offensive line. I mean, this is the last season for David Edwards. I think is it David Edwards' contract that's up this year?
Sounds right.
I think it's David Edwards' contract's up this year, and he's a pivotal spot on that offensive line. I mean, it's possible. I mean, he's not going to get cut, but I think I'm be shocked if they don't try to bring in a replacement this season to try to help that out because just no tells them what's going to happen with his contract.
Yeah, they signed a 2-year deal.
Yeah. And I mean, that's it. I mean, I think we covered everybody. There's nobody else. They even got Amari Cooper still listed on our roster.
Yeah. Yeah, I think to your point, I think they're going to spend a lot of money, not a lot of money, but a lot of draft capital next year on their offensive line.
Yep. Yep. I can see them pounding away at that O line next year because they're going to lose some depth in that interior. But yeah, those are my picks. I mean, this is going to be a crazy season. I think this roster is going to be because we've never had this many young players drafted on one side of the ball like we did this year. And we're already seeing like most of these guys are going to be replacing a lot of names that we're going to unexpect or probably not be on this roster.
Yeah. No, I think you're absolutely right. And I feel like Bills fans are going to be very nervous and very worried with the way the first, I would say, 4 to 6 games of the season are going to look.
Mm-hmm.
Because yes, Josh Allen is amazing and will probably will us to victory through many of those games. But like the defense I can't expect the defense to look lights out, right? Like immediately coming out of the gate with so many new players, so many young players. And I don't know. I mean, you're right. It's going to be a very interesting season. And I think the good thing is we're still probably very easily going to take the division again. I don't know if we'll be in contention for the 1 seed. We'll have to talk about that as we get closer to the schedule release and, as we do our predictions and stuff like that. But I mean, having that division crown will definitely help us. And I think as we get closer to the end of the season, having that young core, I think will be very helpful, going forward. But yeah.
Do you have a team that this year that you are very curious on how they're going to look this year, how successful they'll be?
Yeah, I mean, I've been pounding the hammer a little while here for the Patriots. I'm very nervous about what the Patriots are going to look like. I think that, like, you know, um, I think coaching matters a lot,
Yeah, yeah.
and I think them bringing in a very competent, very well-respected coach is a big deal. I think Mayo was in way over his head. I think Drake May was really raw last year, but I they signed their number one pick. They picked that offensive lineman, at number
Mhm.
4 overall. And I mean, they brought in Diggs, which I think will help them. I just think the Patriots are going to be much better. I don't think the Jets are good. I think Miami is Miami because we clearly have Miami's number, and anybody can't convince me otherwise, right? Because like the Bills have beat them 11 of 12 times, so like we
Under
clearly
Josh
have, yeah. I'm not worried about Miami at all, but the Patriots I think are going to be very interesting this year. And when we did our AFC power rankings, I mean, we had them like right there, right? I mean, 7, 8 in the
Yep.
conference. I could see it.
Hmm. Yeah, I like that. I like the Patriots. Um,
What
I
about
don't
you?
know why. I'm curious as to how Cincinnati's gonna look this year.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't even think about them.
That's the team. I just want to know what team's going to show up this year. So, because I believe they drafted quite a few defensive players this year.
You did. They went like all defense.
Yeah. So I mean, they're going to have a young defense and I think, a new defensive coordinator there. I don't know. Yeah, I just think that when a team ties that much money into their offense like they do, that I mean, there's not much you can do on defense. I mean, there's only so much you're going to be able to put together when
Yeah.
you've diverted no resources to it, and the only resource you've directed to it this year is the draft. So I they lost more than they gained on defense too. So
I mean, they can't be much worse though. They were historically bad on defense. And I mean, if that defense could have just made a couple of stops in a couple of games, they would have been a playoff team. You know,
yeah.
I,
Well, the
we,
crazy thing is their home record, home 3-5.
yeah,
Their
that's it.
road record was 6. They were better on the road than they were playing at home.
Yeah, that's insane. Yeah, absolutely. I
That's
mean,
almost unheard of in the NFL.
yeah, I remember that game they played against the Steelers where you and I we were like talking about what we were gonna do for our DraftKings for the week. And like we're like, oh yeah, like it's the Steelers because the Steelers have like just played the Ravens the week before, and the final score was like 18 to like 12 or something like that. Like no touchdowns were scored in the entire
Yep,
game.
yep,
And you and
yep.
I were like, oh yeah, it's gonna be low scoring, right? And then like in the end of the first quarter, it was like 28 to 28, and we were
Out of
like,
nowhere.
what the hell just happened?
Yep, yep. Out of nowhere. See, that's the problem with their team is that they're going to forever be playing from behind.
Yeah.
And the problem with them is that if they can get, I'll tell you this, Cincinnati could probably beat almost just about anybody if the game's close at the end of the game.
Yeah. Yeah.
If their defense can keep the game close. The problem is with them is like, again, teams get up on them, then they got to make a comeback. They have to score every single time they're on the field because their defense was that bad. So I'm just wondering how they're going to turn it around this year. I know a lot of people like to throw them out there just because of the names in their offense that they're going to be playoff contenders, but I mean, it's a big turnaround on that defense. I mean, you had a really, really bad one last year, and I mean, you very well could have it again this year. I mean, you just had a bunch of draft picks that all you brought in because they can't
Yeah.
afford to pay any free agents to go on defense because they tied up their money with all their offense
Oh yeah, they're spending a fortune on Chase and Higgins and the quarterback.
and Burrow.
Yeah. So
It's insane. And it's not, the crazy thing too is I don't understand what's the point of holding on to both wide receivers. Because if you're not winning the Super Bowl with both of them, what's the point?
I'm really surprised about Higgins. Like I'm really surprised they paid him as much as they did. I mean, I like dude could have absolutely tested the free market and somebody would have paid him like I'm really surprised that he didn't go like he didn't land anywhere else.
Well,
Like
he
it's
couldn't. They franchise tagged him every year for the last 2 seasons.
yeah. No,
They
it
did it
just
to him again, or is this 3 years in a row for? It might be 3 years in a row for him. He's been franchise tagged. Because I
no,
remember his
they
mom.
just got a deal done, right? Like they actually just got a deal done.
But that's why he couldn't go nowhere. They franchised him before he even
Yeah,
signed.
yeah, yeah. You're right about that. You're right about that. Which is yeah. It's
Just so he couldn't talk to nobody.
yeah. I mean, he's very good. And like to Sean's point in the other video we did, like, I mean, that's one of the best 1-2 punches in the league. Like it
Mm-hmm.
really it's scary. And I mean, I would love it if they could take Baltimore out. because I think Baltimore is still probably the favorite of that division right now. But
What
I
is
don't
their
know.
record against? What is since Burrow's been there? What's their record against the Ravens?
That's interesting. Let's
Let's
look it
see.
up. Joe Burrow versus the Ravens.
Let's see.
Joe Burrow played.
Here we go. One, two, three. He doesn't beat them.
Yeah, no, it
Yeah.
doesn't look like.
Out of 9 games, he's only beat them 3 times.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Baltimore's really good, and I really hate it. I really hate how good Baltimore is during the regular season. It's almost like they're like the Peyton Manning Colts.
Yeah.
Can't get it done in the playoffs, but goddamn, they're good in the regular season. They're
Well, I
really
mean,
big regular season.
they're the AFC's version of the Philadelphia Eagles. They just don't have the wide receiver talent,
That's true. Yeah,
and
I
they
mean,
don't have a quarterback that can sit in the pocket and throw.
Zay Flowers is really good. I really like him a lot, but I mean, yeah, they just Lamar. You can say whatever you want about Lamar. He's a great regular season quarterback, but I think he's proven at this point that he chokes in the playoffs. I
Well, I
mean,
mean, he doesn't have what a quarterback would need to get you over that hump. That's why Michael Vick never made it to the Super Bowl, or Randall Cunningham never made it to the Super Bowl. Even though they both had rocket arms, it just gets to a point when you depend on your legs so much that you get knocked out of games. I mean, think about how many playoffs seasons he missed out on, or games he missed because he got hurt during the season. I think last year was the first full season he had. He didn't get injured. Am I right?
yeah. And I mean, and the way he plays, yeah, the way he plays is different from Josh Allen. I mean, Josh Allen's fast, but Josh Allen's also big. Like Josh
Mm-hmm.
Allen's very big. Lamar is not as big as Josh Allen, and Lamar is very fast. And the older you get, the more that's going to slow down. I don't
Mm-hmm.
think it's going to happen this year. I would be willing to bet he'll be in the favorite for the MVP at the end of the season. But I mean, in a couple of years, he's going to be a very different player. They're really going to need to get him some wide receiver help if they plan on keeping him for the long haul.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, probably when I mean once he hits, I mean with quarterbacks, the throwing talent stays in terms of strength until your mid 30s, near your 40s, for most, almost 40s, but there were some exceptions, obviously. But um,
the
but for
the run,
him, I mean,
yeah,
running quarterbacks like him, they don't last a decade. They just
no,
don't.
3 or 4 more years with the running, and that's why like it takes us back to Josh Allen. And I know we're like way on a tangent here, but like get your shit together, Bills, because like you're wasting this unicorn that you have right now, and you don't have many more years of him being able to do what he can do. Like I know, I know we have complained sometimes about Allen and like the way he reads the field and sometimes his stupid decision making, but I mean, he's freaking great. And like we would not like these last 6 years have been so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's been so much fun watching them. I heard a stat on the radio the other day where somebody had said over their home games since Josh Allen has been the quarterback, he's played 42 games at home. They're 37-5.
Yep.
37-5 at home.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane.
Yep. Yep.
Insane.
Yep.
Like
Well,
we would have killed for that, over the 17-year drought.
yeah. I mean, but that's been my point with them because I know a lot of people, Bills fans, we all have our issues with whatever portion of the front office, players, whatever. Um, but you have to admit, this has been a great ride. I mean, granted, we haven't, got the hardware yet, which I believe is going to come this year, probably. If you ask me, in my opinion, we'll open up next year's stadium with a banner. Here we go. But we just got to keep some things in perspective. Sometimes I know sometimes as a fan we get a little crazy and start saying all kind of wild and crazy stuff, but it's been a great ride, man. I mean, this is why we're on here now. You know, we want to be part of the circle. We want to be part of the group of people who are able to get on here and stream and talk about their favorite team. Um, I'm a diehard Bills fan. My man Mike here's a diehard Bills fan. I mean, we bleed red, white, blue. I mean, all my hats, majority of my hats are all Bills hats. It's been great. It's been great that I can actually talk to other fan bases and not have to feel like I got to defend myself. I can actually say, oh, no, you got to defend yourself. How dare you, sir? How dare you tell me your team's going to make the playoffs over the Bills?
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. So, well, guys, that's our video. Thank you so much for joining us for this one. If you guys disagree with us, let us know in the comments. We're very interested in your takes, and look forward to our additional content coming out. We're going to do some stuff on the schedule. We're going to look at all the teams and where we think everybody's going to go. We'll have our SmackDown review tomorrow as well. So look forward to that. And as always, guys, hit that like and subscribe. Thank you so much, and we'll talk soon.